Hi there, judges. My name is Jeffrey, and today my partner and I, Yihong, will be presenting you our BRICKHACK project. So our project's called Escape the Melting Pot. So here are the table of contents for today. We'll go over the introduction, the project goal about the project, how the project was built to execution, lessons learned, and finally, what are the next steps. So Yihong and I are both Canadian students, so this is actually our first hackathon together and our first BRICKHACK. So we wanted to create a project together and see what we could do. Our project goal is to create a game on a website that will help children learn more about their culture by interacting with their parents. So about the project, the inspiration behind it is that both Yihong and I come from Chinese cultural backgrounds, and our parents came here and they immigrated to Canada. And it's important to us that we retain our individual identity and understand our cultural background. So we want to inspire the younger generation. And the name of this project is to escape that melting pot, right? You don't want to melt your cultures and different cultures together into one single homogeneous one, right? Where you just have one society all blended together and no one really retains their traditions or cultures. The project scope is an escape room game, and it'll be played between a parent and their child. And like other escape room games, there's going to be hints, puzzles, and clues that you'll have to solve in order to finish the game and escape. So instead, in ours, we'll also include prompts, and these prompts will be directed towards the parents, and they'll have to answer these questions about their culture, about their background, how they grew up, and really share with the child in a fun and interactive manner for them to learn about what it was like for them growing up. So here are the in-game prompts that can come up, and you can pause the screen if you'd like to read them. Yihong will now go over the project execution.
I'll be giving a quick demo of how our game works, as well as speaking briefly about the technology stack used to accomplish this. So I have two clients open since this is an interactive game between a kid and their parent. So on this side, I'll choose to be the parent, and then on this side, I'll choose to be the kid. So we can see that on the kid side, we have a number of objects that we can sort of select, and this is done with the arrow keys. And if we press the space bar, we can see that a prompt comes up, but it doesn't really do anything. So if we go to this briefcase, we'll see that a prompt pops up on both clients. And so this was done using Socket.io, where we're able to emit events in real time. And so this prompt prompts the kid and their parent to discuss something about the parent's life. And then once the discussion has been had, the parent can confirm that the discussion was had by pressing spacebar on their screen. And then as you can see, after they press spacebar, we receive something in our inventory, which we can then use to access the next part of the escape room. And so now, as you can see, previously when we tried to go to this briefcase, nothing really happened, but now we get prompts on both screens. And it's the same thing where it prompts a discussion, and then the parent can confirm this discussion was had, and we can move on to the next part of the escape room. So same thing here. And then once we've had all three discussions and sort of done all three pieces of the escape room, we've escaped. So now I'll talk briefly about the technology stack that was used to accomplish this. So on the front end, for the GUI, to get the ASCII art, we use a library called WebGL Terminal, which it basically allows us to render ASCII art in the browser. And it provides some nice functionality for taking in keyboard input and some pre-built GUI components so that we didn't have to make like the dialogues ourselves. Now the important part here is our use of Socket.io. So depending on the game state, at various states of the game, as you can see, we're listening for different Socket.io events, and as well we're emitting different Socket.io events. And so on our server side, we have an Express server that serves all of our compiled files, and as well we have a Socket server here that is listening and relaying messages between the clients. At the moment, there's just a global room, but in the future there could be, it would be fairly trivial to implement like multiple rooms so that multiple games could be occurring at the same time.
Thanks, Yihong, for going over that. Now let's talk about our lessons learned. And the main thing that we learned is how important planning is. So in terms of engineering, it was really important to plan better next time, because for us, we were able to write code at the beginning really quickly, but it was really hard for us to scale towards the end. Another thing is to really plan the user journey. Every single click the user will have to undergo before it gets to the feature that we want to use. In terms of next steps, you can view that in our Markdown document. So thanks again, everyone, for listening, and I hope you enjoyed our presentation.